Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, #1 best-selling author, host of the Rachel Cruz Show and the Smart Money Happy Hour co-host. My daughter, Rachel Cruz, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us, America. We're so glad you're here. Shane is in Denver. Hi, Shane. What's up?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today?
Better than we deserve. How can we help?
Of course. Yeah, hey, I'm just calling to, my wife and I, we bought our house in 2021 we bought it for $500,000. We put $100 down on it. We had about $100 in our savings account that we kept in there too for our emergency fund. We have now paid it down to about we owe about $280 on it as
Good.
of today.
Very good.
So in 3 years, we've put down another $115,000 into it.
You're killing it, dude.
We have no debt. Our cars are paid off. We have no debt, and we have still about $100 in our savings account today as well.
Mm-hmm.
We are worried about the house economy crashing here in the next 6 months or so, and our mortgage rate is at 2.5%.
Well, let me stop you. I'm sorry. Why are you worried about the housing economy in Denver, Colorado crashing?
Well, I don't know. I think I don't know. My wife she's more of a realist than I am, and so I'm just kind of going with the flow, and we're just trying to.
I'm sorry. What does being a realist mean? You mean a pessimist?
I guess so. I'm not trying to talk down on her because.
Oh, I wasn't either. I'm just saying there's a realist is someone who observes facts. There are no facts in the marketplace that indicated a housing crash in Denver, Colorado in the next 6 months. Absolutely zero facts.
Okay, well that's good to know. So, and then also we're wanting to see if we should sell our house.
No.
Also, and collect our revenue. Because it's already at $700.
No.
No. Okay.
You guys need to get off the internet.
That's what I say too.
Yeah. I'm sitting next to the Ramsey family conspiracy theorist.
Conspiracy theorist. I don't know. When AT&T went out last month,
Rachel, what's the Denver housing conspiracy? I missed this one. You're up on all the conspiracies.
It does have the Denver airport. You are close to the bunker. That could happen if it all goes down, Shane. That's your greatest asset right now.
Again, at the same time, too, my son, we have a 7-year-old son, and I travel a lot for work in the state, and we're trying to maybe move to the southern part of Colorado to where I don't have to travel as much, and I can work from my office down there.
If you want to do that, but please don't do that because the Denver housing market is going to collapse in the next 6 months. That should not be one of the factors that drives your decision.
Okay.
Because it's not. It's not going to collapse. Okay.
Well, and then percentage-wise, I didn't want to go get a new house and then pay a percentage on something with a higher interest rate when we're at 2.5.
You're not going to have a higher interest rate for much longer because you're paying it off so fast.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it might be 3 or 4 years you carry it, but you're not going to carry it for 30 years, so it doesn't matter. But make your decisions out of a glass half full, not out of panic, and really quit reading the internet. I'm serious.
Okay.
There's some really dumb, dark people out there.
Yeah, that's and I'm too busy with work. My wife's a nurse practitioner in psych, and the last couple of years she's been just a stay-at-home mother with our kids during these years, and now my son's getting to be where he can be in full-time school. So she's about to go back to work too now. So
Good.
We're gonna have a double income.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well. And but I mean, psych nurse is maybe she. Oh my gosh, she's just seen a lot of crazy stuff. No pun intended, right? And so,
right.
It can leave a mark on you. And so, but I don't want her to live in fear. I don't meet people who anticipate the end of the world who prosper. None.
Agreed.
I just don't. The people who now, I mean, there's preppers and then there's crazy preppers. Okay, prepper's one thing, but crazy prepper, that's anticipating the end of the world. Like, I've got a friend who has gold bar. I have a friend who has gold bars in his basement.
Well, okay.
And it's not. It's just not right.
And let's keep talking about this, though, Shane, because the housing market is a point in our economy that a lot of people are panicked about. And back, during COVID, when everything surged in 2021, we sat here at this desk and people were like, it's a bubble, it's a bubble,
it's going to bust.
And you're like, it's not. Supply and demand. We did the real estate.
Gone up.
Yes, we did the real estate, hour and all of it. So it is, though, Shane, to your wife's credit, it is a point of fear for a lot of people because
not
I think
to her credit, empathize with her. I understand how people are afraid, but that doesn't mean that it's going.
No,
that it's
I'm not saying that.
Logical.
Okay, so then give us the logic behind it.
Well, the logic is there's a housing shortage. There's still 3 buyers for every stinking house on the market, and houses have gone up right now, today, in most major markets. Homes that are on the market are getting multiple offers.
But they're sitting on it longer, though. It's not.
Yeah, like 8 days.
No,
longer.
it's not.
The average days on the market has gone up 8 days in the past 12 months.
My wife sent me something the other day, and it says new home sales fall as mortgage rates weigh down housing.
Well, I know when the mortgage rates did go up, it slowed it down, though.
No one clicks on stuff unless it bleeds. That's a clickbait lead.
Okay.
Housing starts fall as mortgage rates go up, which they did. A lot of builders slowed down. There's not as many houses coming out of the ground. You know what that does? It means there's an even bigger shortage of inventory, which makes your home even that much more. But house prices didn't fall. Builders slowed down building because they didn't want to get caught with specs if the market slowed down on them. But not if the market crashed. Housing starts did drop. But headlines always go, everyone's dying. That's what the headlines always say, because that's what people click on is that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, look, that's what I mean by don't read the internet, okay?
And with the election year coming up, traditionally in election years, things slow down closer to the election, too. So you may see that happening.
So traditionally, interest rates go down because the sitting president doesn't want to get unseated by a stinky economy. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But interest rates have come down a little bit in the last month and a half. They've come down a full point. And the market is, some areas, the southern areas of the country, the grass is starting to get green. People are coming out of their winter caves and starting to buy houses. And the house market is heating back up. It's a dirty little secret. Nobody's talking about it.
Yep.
But I've been anecdotally involved in 3 or 4 deals lately where I'm watching, and there's multiple offers coming in on these.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting ready to put our home on the market. And I was just looking, it's a different dollar amount, but I mean, I was just looking at the, what's the average days on the market? The average days on the market, what's the inventory? Inventory's dried up. I'm sitting pretty. My timing is excellent to put a house on the market. It's far from a crash, quite the opposite. Yeah, you're going to see your homes go up in value in the next 12 months. Just write it down and say the old bald guy said it. This is The Ramsey Show. I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I've taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady, and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? And it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I going to eat next week?
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief. Like it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like, so big on for people to get because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance, and we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much because Xander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. The cost of stinking pizza.
It really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com. Well, there's one thing most of us agree on: taxes suck. This is the time of year which I generally stay grouchy, just in general, just because I think about how much theft my government is involved in.
Can we talk about this real quick, too? It adds on to the tax.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was kind of an epiphany I had yesterday where I was like, it is weird that, like, you could pay off your house. You could be completely debt-free. But if you still have to, the government to a degree still owns it. Like, you got to pay your property taxes. Mm-hmm. In a sense, they kind of own your career. If you don't pay your taxes, you get put in jail. Mm-hmm. And then car insurance, you got to pay off car, but you got to pay insurance. Like, there's a level of this that you're like, man,
yeah,
it's not like.
Some of these things never stop.
It's what it feels like.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know. I had that epiphany the other day. I was like, man.
So you got two choices for claiming tax deductions. Understanding the difference can save you big bucks. Literally over 7 out of 10 Americans get a tax refund. That means 7 out of 10 of you are doing math poorly. There's a shock. You know what? Because listen, I'm old. I know Santa Claus. He's a friend of mine. He never goes to Washington, D.C. That money that's coming to you is not from Santa Claus. He has nothing to do with it. It's not a gift. It's your money. You sent too much money to the freaking IRS. They held it all year at no interest, and they send it back to you called a refund, and you have a celebration like you hit the freaking lottery. All it was a bad Christmas account. You know, you just saved up money, and then they sent it back to you with a 0% interest with the stinking IRS because you had too much taken out of your check. Stop it. Adjust your deductions to the proper amount of tax withholding to where you don't owe any taxes and they don't give you a refund. That's the proper thing to do. Now, this is what you got to do, guys. Now, if you're doing your taxes right now, you can take a standard deduction. That's the easy option. If you're single, you make $65,000 a year, the standard deduction knocks off close to $14,000. So you only pay taxes on $51,000 of your income, and not even that, really. That's if you're single. So itemize your deductions. If you're going to do that, it takes more work, and you need a bunch of deductions, right? So if you want to know more about all this tax stuff, there's two things we'll do to help you. One is if you have a very simple return, you can get the Ramsey Tax Ramsey Smart Tax software. I can't say it, and I'm not smart enough to say it. And so it's not very expensive, and it's very easy to implement, and a whole bunch of people have moved from those other guys. Like 100,000 of you will do your taxes on the Ramsey Smart Tax software this year. So it's very easy, very simple. Now, if you have a complicated return, like you have a small business, a side hustle, you bought or sold a house or whatever like that, and you want to get a tax pro, we've got tons and tons of tax pros that are endorsed local providers that we have vetted. I was just talking to one a minute ago from Houston, and there she is waving at us. She was at the break getting her picture made. She does taxes for you in Houston. So good folks taking good care of you. That's the way to do it. Go to RamseySolutions.com/tax, and you can find out about either one of those. Noah is in Sacramento. Hi, Noah. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave and Rachel. Huge fan. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I got myself into a predicament. I moved. I was living in Huntington Beach around 2021, and then after COVID and stuff, I lost my job, and my family in Sacramento said I can come live with them. So that's where I've been the last 3 years. I got a good job. Well, I make about $60K. But over the 3 years being here, I've made some very bad decisions. Severe gambling addict. I think that me just having to pay my parents a couple hundred a month gave me too much not enough responsibility, and I was just blowing it left and right, maxing out credit cards. Long story short, now I'm here. I told my parents everything, and I just told them that I have a game plan to move out of here by September and just pay off everything I can until then. I got a job opportunity to go out and spray for pests, like pest control in Texas. That is guaranteed $30,000 for about 4 months of work until September. I'm wondering if I should quit my current job and go do that and go pay off all my debt, but I'd come back with no job.
Where in Texas?
Waco. I think Waco. Yeah.
You think? No, I'm sure where it is. Okay.
Yeah.
What have you
Waco
done about your severe gambling addiction?
Haven't gambled. What is it? It's 3 or 4 months. It's been about all year. But it was bad. I broke down and told my family. And
how have you dealt with it? You just decided you're going to stop and that's it? You've got no help at all?
No, it cost me a relationship and a bunch of stuff, and I just realized I just had to stop. No, I haven't got like a therapist or anything, but
yeah,
I've been good. I've deleted all the websites.
Okay, there's two possibilities in this conversation. One is you don't have a severe gambling addiction. You were just stupid. That's one possibility, and you decide to stop being stupid. Two is you have a severe gambling addiction, and if that's the case, you have not done enough to fix this. You would need to get into Gamblers Anonymous, and you would need to be seeing a counselor. Okay. How old are you?
Okay. I'm 25. I just turned 25 in December.
Okay. So, I mean, I've never had a severe addiction, but I have done stupid stuff. So I can relate to one side of it as a possibility. I don't know if this is just immaturity and stupidity, and you can ask yourself that question. I'm not calling you that. I'm just saying your actions were, and the way that you just quit cold without any help at all kind of makes me think it was on that side rather than the addiction side, but I'm not a therapist. What do you think?
Is it a compulsion? Do you know what I mean, Noah? Like usually with an addiction, there's a level of compulsion there.
It was compulsion. Yes, it was the dopamine. It was being bored. I don't have any friends in Utah. In Sacramento. And when I got here, I got a job right away, but it's work from home. I've been working from home for 3 years, so I never met anybody. Yeah. And that's my bad. I could join a club, I could do stuff, but I haven't. And so I've just kind of been working in my room, and after I get off, I'm in my room gambling because it's just been horrible.
Yeah. How much debt did you go into for it?
I've been climbing myself out of it all year. I also have a car payment because I just had to have the Lexus. You guys know it's stupid. But I have a credit card with $1,800 on it, $4K on another card, and that's it for the credit cards. And then I have a $10,000 car loan.
Okay.
I also owe the IRS $1,300 because I decided to go exempt on some paychecks, which was really dumb.
Yeah, because you were gambling. Okay.
Yep. Well, you hit your rock bottom, Noah, and I think for a lot of people, there is that part of their story where it's just you lost everything, your relationship, it's just you got to a point you couldn't continue to move forward until you had those conversations, right? That to actually bring up what's been going on. Yeah. But I'm with Dave on that I would, just for your own sake, and I think that all of this is good for anybody, just to do some work around who you are, how you got here, what are these things, these compulsions, where is it coming from? Just doing some digging into your story.
Yeah, the problem with going to Waco is you go with you.
Yeah.
So all of these things are still there. You're not getting away from them.
Totally. The good thing is they're putting me in a hotel.
I know, which is you were in a room before by yourself. That was dangerous.
It's
not a good thing.
They're paying for rent. I have a work truck waiting for me out there.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a good deal, except that you're going with you. I'm worried about you.
Yeah, I would just say if you were to do this from a financial aspect, I would put some parameters around it, and I would. Things like GA is so great. The 12-step stuff is so good.
You need to plug into Gamblers Anonymous.
Yes, being in a weekly group. Honestly, it's like these practices that you put yourself in front of continue to work on the shame. It continues to work on the actual act of it. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. So
I without being sure you're healed or in a healing process, just taking off the Waco is a bad idea. So if you're engaged in some kind of healing process and Waco's part of that process, great. But running away and you following you is a bad plan. This is the Ramsey Show. You know, it doesn't take a degree in statistics to realize that this one stinks. 93% of undergraduate private student loans are co-signed. So when you're delinquent and drowning in private student loan debt, Mom or Dad or Uncle Joe is stuck in that financial stress along with you. But there is a way out. Why Refi? Why Refi offers a custom refinancing option with a fixed rate loan based on your ability to pay. And the average interest rate Why Refi offers is 3.9%, which can significantly reduce your monthly payment and decrease your total cost. Why Refi refinances your defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch. And I trust them to help you get out of debt. So don't be another statistic in the student loan swamp. Contact Why Refi at 844-2-RAMSEY or go to whyrefi.com/Ramsey. That's 844-2-RAMSEY or the letter Y, then REFY.com/Ramsey. It's common sense for your dollars and cents. This is the Ramsey Show, proving that having common sense is somewhat like having a superpower today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, we have a wonderful thing called the debt-free stage. When people stand on it, they do their debt-free screams. We do this show on the glass 5 days a week from 1 to 4 every afternoon. You're welcome to stop by and join us here in Nashville. Anthony and Susan are on the debt-free stage. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Where do you guys live?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, wow, nice. Well, welcome to Nashville. How much debt have you paid off?
We paid off $54,773.
Very good. And how long did that take?
About 8 months.
Good for you.
Nice.
And wow. And your range of income during that time?
Yeah, we went from making $165,365 in 2022 to $266,678 last year.
Oh my gosh.
Jumped to $100K.
Yeah.
What do y'all do for a living?
So I'm a nurse.
She's a registered nurse, and I'm a precision plater for a defense company.
Okay. So what y'all do? Just like work overtime out your ears?
Yeah.
Or get
He
big
said yes.
promotions or what?
12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Y'all went nuts.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
What kind of debt was the $55,000?
It was the big bulk of it was student loans and also a Discover card.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a lot of smaller stuff like jewelry loan. We had phones that we owed money on. We had a 401k loan.
Y'all were like normal.
Pretty normal, yeah.
And normal sucks.
Yeah, it did.
So you woke up and said, this sucks. Y'all, how long y'all been married?
15 years.
So 14 years this has gone by.
Yep.
And what happened a year ago? What was the blow up? What was the Ramsey connection?
Well, a year ago was about a year of us really being stressed out with having a lot of debt. And I remember we were like always sitting in the hot tub that we, of course, got a loan for, right? Finance. And complaining about like how the burden of the debt and what do we need to do to get through it.
That is a great picture.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I'm sitting in my finance hot tub whining about the debt.
Right. Yeah, and
that is so great.
I actually had an injury where I had to have a medical procedure done, and I was out of work for 3 months.
Oh, and that put the pinch on stuff.
It did, yeah. So
and you went, this crap ain't working.
Yeah, we took a 401k loan out to try to cover that span of time, and then the credit card just took off because it wasn't enough. And so at that point, we knew that something had to change.
So at the point, okay, so the pressure built up,
Yeah.
gave you a wake-up call. Then what'd you do?
Well, we had your book sitting on our shelf for 3 months, the Total Money, or for a long time, the Total Money Makeover. And we started to read it probably 3 or 4 years prior because we wanted to change things, but we didn't think we had a big enough problem when we dove into it. Well, God put it on our hearts at the beginning of last year that we could change, and the book was staring us in the face, so picked it up and read it within a couple days. Started really listening to the podcast and watching you on YouTube, and then we buckled down and we started to create a budget. We used the Every Dollar app, and that was the game changer.
Was there one of you guys that was more like hardcore? We got to start, more urgent about it, or were you both pretty equal?
I think he started things off, but then we were together wanting to get rid of the debt.
Okay.
So.
Yes. In that process. So what was the hardest part for you guys for 8 months? I mean, you're working insane hours, and I mean, you're doing a lot.
You went crazy in a great way.
Yeah. For me, it was like he's working all the time, so I'm taking care of everything at the house and the kids. And the scariest thing for me, honestly, was putting my 401k on hold, because I've always invested like 10%. And he was like, "We have to do this," and I was like, "I don't know," but we did it, and that was the scariest thing.
And the weird thing is, it's only 8 months. It didn't hurt.
No, it didn't hurt. We ended up doing the whole year and saving more money. And then this year we started with a new investor, and my 401k is like doing better than ever before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funny how that works.
So good.
Yeah, we hooked up with a Smart Investor Pro, and he really sat down with us and explained what we were doing. And, like you always say, the reasons we started to understand. And she just pulled up a statement the other day, and that since she started taking some of that advice, the changes have been pretty insane. So,
wow. Good for y'all.
So encouraging.
Well done. Excellent. All right. Now, when people find out you did this, that you got completely out of debt, we were just bopping along, 14 years of marriage, and then boom, we get a year of hell, and we get out of debt so that we don't have to live in this mess anymore. When people ask, how'd you do that, what do you tell them the secret to getting out of debt is?
I think for me, the big thing was you got to go to work. You have to work hard. You have to, and not only that, you have to get on the same page and create a budget. For us, for the longest time, Susan always handled the finances. I was like looking back, an ostrich with my head in the sand. Like, she would come to me and say, "This is going on," and I didn't want to hear it because I felt like it stressed me out. And I needed to grow as a man and step up, and we needed to lock arms and come together and create a vision for what we wanted the money to do. So,
and every wife in America just went, touchdown!
I don't know if they said touchdown. They probably said amen. Amen. Hallelujah. That's so good. So good. And the budget.
This had to impact your all's marriage then.
Big time. Yep.
Yeah, like Susan, you're not carrying the whole way, the stinking thing on your back.
Right. It's been really awesome sitting down with him. We sit down every week and do the budget, do the bank book together, do everything together. And, it was just me for like the longest time. So it's amazing.
So Anthony, did it, when you actually started leaning in and doing it, did it stress you out as much as you thought it would back in the day when you said, I don't want to look at that, I might get stressed?
In the beginning, it might have stressed me out because I know for a while it was hard to learn how to be, how to compromise. So there were things that I saw that money was going to places that I had no idea, and so I had to learn that this needs to go there. Like, this isn't like frivolous or anything like that. Because my eyes were open to where the money was going. If that makes sense.
That's very good.
So I had to learn
you weren't
to compromise.
scared of hard work before, but when you had a reason for your hard work, you went after it.
Kicked it in overdrive.
Yeah,
Yep.
Big time. You kicked it hard. Well done, guys. Well done. I'm so proud of you. You're
Amazing.
heroes, man.
Thank you.
You're heroes.
And you have 3 kids.
Yes.
All right, let's bring them up and introduce them and give me their names and ages, please.
So our oldest daughter, this is Courtney. She's 14.
Hey, Courtney. Good.
And then Our middle daughter is Sophia. She's 12.
Mm-hmm.
And our youngest daughter, Abigail, is 7.
All right,
So
Miss
great,
Abigail.
you guys.
All right, very cool.
And there's so many families that are in the middle of this journey. And I really think you guys just being here is such a beautiful picture that it's possible.
Yeah.
It's so possible.
Well
So
done.
it's amazing.
We've got a 1-year subscription for every dollar for you for the premium, and another one as well for you to give away to somebody and get them started on it. Way to go, you guys. You're
Thank you.
heroes.
So
Very proud
great.
of you. Those 3 beautiful girls' lives have been changed by a grown man and a grown woman doing what they're supposed to do. Well
So
done,
good.
you guys. Very cool. Anthony and Susan, Courtney, Sophia, and Abby from St. Louis, $55,000 paid off in 8 months, making $165, and then went to work $266. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free. Yeah! That is how that is done. Man, I mean, all
So
the
incredible.
questions we get, I can't get my husband involved. I can't get my wife involved. That guy just outlined right there. He just stepped up. That was the most manly, masculine thing I've heard in a long time for that guy. He owned every bit of it.
Yeah.
And stepped in there. Beautifully done.
And so many women were her that are running the household on their own. And
Yep.
it's a lonely place to be. And so when you sit down, you end up talking about life. You end up talking, this is where the money's going, what's going here on here. And it's so much. The connection point is so huge.
It's
so
it's
huge.
massive.
They're incredible.
This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, it's Rachel Cruz here to tell you about a faith-based alternative to health insurance that can make healthcare more affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM allows members to share each other's healthcare costs, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, choose the healthcare provider you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. With no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider, CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. Find out more at chministries.org/budget.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author. My co-host today, Emily, is with us in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hi, Emily. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How can we help?
Good. So I'm reaching out today. I feel like I'm a Ramsey kid growing up. Your theme song has been like a jingle in the household through the last 26 years of my life. I'm reaching out today and kind of nervous, not sure kind of what to do at this point. We make just under $100,000 a year, my husband and I, and he is getting ready to hopefully go back to school here in a couple weeks. We're just kind of waiting on that official acceptance, and we will be losing about 60% of our income. And we were running numbers last night, sitting down, trying to evaluate things, and I'm just not sure what we do with such a large reduction in our income based on what we kind of saw with our expenses.
Are you guys able to cover the basics on 60% or on 40% of your income?
Barely. We do have 2 kids, so we are bearing the price of childcare times 2. On the positive side, he's old enough now, he's in his early 30s, where he's going to be going to school on Pell Grants and scholarships, so we don't have to necessarily work on like cash flow in his education. But I'm just kind of concerned with how we're going to structure like our living expenses.
How long will he be in school for?
Roughly 8 to 13 months. And it's a full, roughly 7 days a week, 9 to 5. They said don't plan on working during the program because it is such a vigorous course.
Well, that means there's childcare is no help at all.
Exactly.
Okay, so childcare stays there, and you're making $40K, and you can live on that, or not. If the answer is
Barely.
not, you can't do it. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't think, and we've looked at a couple different options. My parents are getting ready to retire, but I don't really want them spending their whole retirement watching their grandkids 5 days a week.
the 8 to 10 months is not their whole retirement.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to do it, that's another thing. I mean, they may not want to do it. It may not be an option, but I mean, what's he going to study?
Electrical lineman. So he wants to do high power voltage.
Okay. And so he's making 60 now. He'll come out making 80 day one.
Yeah, I think they said apprentices start roughly 45 to 50 an hour flat rate, not including any overtime, so the income.
And his apprenticeship is like only a couple of years, and then he'll be making serious money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he going to travel with it?
No, I think he plans to stay local. We bought our house in 2020 for fairly cheap at a super low interest rate, so we're not really willing to give that up right now.
Okay. Because, I mean, if he's traveling, it's a whole different world even in that world, as you know. Okay. Well, here's the thing. It feels like the way you're describing this, that you first decided for him to do this, and then tried to figure out if you could afford it rather than the other way around. Like you should have figured out if you could afford it before he decided to do it. Because his primary job is to not become a high wire guy. His primary job is to feed his family.
Yep.
And if he can't do that, then he can't do this.
Yep, and he's talked about picking up like a part-time job or working with his current employer to see if he can work odd-end hours to kind of fill those gaps.
But they said not to do that.
Yeah, they didn't recommend it until they kind of get into like the core of the program. So, and he's been working towards this roughly about 6 years. He's paid off roughly $7,000 in debt because currently we've done step one. We've been working on step two, but as soon as he started to get the beginning of the acceptance, we kind of froze step two for a minute to say, okay.
How much did you guys have left, Emily?
For our debt?
Yeah.
Not including our mortgage, about $35,000.
Okay.
On what?
Student loans, a vehicle, and then we put a new roof on our house after we purchased it.
How much do you owe on the vehicle?
I want to say roughly $5,000.
Okay.
Is there a way for him to delay this like a year, and you guys get in a position where you pay off debt, you can get savings or like any level of traction?
If you had no debt and had your emergency fund fully funded, you could probably see your way through this a lot more, to Rachel's point.
Yeah, and that's something he's considered. I just know the program he's currently in. He's, put it off and talked about it, and he's applied. And
so what? None of that really matters if you have hungry children. Wah.
Yeah. So, and
he put it off. It's tough.
Our income is the scary
This is
part.
grown-up land.
Yeah.
You got to do what you have to do to feed your family first, and then you do this. So you'd be in a much better condition if you said, I'm going to intentionally spend this next year getting our crap together so that when I do this, it doesn't put my family in jeopardy. Because you're really saying you can't figure out how you're doing this. You keep saying we're barely going to make it, but what you're really saying is we can't make it.
Okay.
Aren't you?
Well, looking at the numbers, I think it's slightly doable, but it's then again getting out of our comfort zone of our current lifestyle and getting into that new lifestyle. And I'm just concerned.
Well, I can handle you. I mean, you can give up your comfort zone. That's what, that's nothing. It's not comfort zone I'm concerned about. It's food.
Yeah. And, the necessities will be met. That's our biggest thing. I'm just worried about, any additional expenses or things that come up.
How much is your house payment?
$1,000.
And your take home pays $3,300.
Yes.
And you're going to run the rest of this household on $2,300 a month, including $35,000 worth of debt. Bull.
That's
bull
yeah.
crap.
That's what we're. Yeah, the numbers aren't crunching. And
no, they're not crunching at all.
Yeah. So
they're crunching, but it's not a good sound of crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would wait, Emily.
Listen,
honestly,
I'm not a dream killer, but I love killing nightmares.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to kill his dream, but if his dream puts his whole family, you call me back 8 months from now, yeah, he went, but we're in foreclosure. I'm not going to sign you up for that and have my stamp of approval. I want him to go do this. Mm-hmm. But I want him to do it in such a way that he doesn't put all of you guys in jeopardy, and he doesn't want to put you guys in jeopardy. But you guys have not thought this through until last night.
Yep. So we've been, looking at stuff, and I've pretty much run our budget. I mean, he's not a spender.
It's not the question.
I'm just looking at
I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
Childcare.
I'm saying you guys together have not thought this through until last night. And you have to. Stephen Covey says one of the 7 habits of highly effective people is they begin with the end in mind. And last night you did that for the first time on this, and it took your breath away, and that's why you called.
Yeah, because I just wasn't sure on what to do. And
so here's what I'm going to tell you. If I were in your shoes, here's what I would do. My first choice would be for him to wait a year. Rachel's suggestion is excellent. And if it takes 18 months or if it puts the whole thing in jeopardy, so be it. I'll call that God. And so God put it in jeopardy because God says don't do things where you can't feed your own family. Those that don't take care of their own household first are worse than an unbeliever. Bible, okay? So we're going to call it that. Now, But I am convinced that if he can get in there this round, he can probably get in another round. So that's choice 1. Choice 2 is you guys look around there and figure out how we're going to increase our income above your base, and mom and dad are going to commit to keep the kids and drop your daycare bill, because your daycare bill is probably, $2,000 a month?
Yeah.
Honey, your daycare in your house, and you don't have any money left for food. I just did that.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking at childcare alternatives and reaching out and trying to find lower cost.
Is your childcare $2,000 a month?
Yeah.
Plus $1,000, $3,000.
Yeah.
Your take home's $3,300. Your budget's not tight. It's impossible. You cannot go forward unless you adjust something. It's fantasy. Okay? You don't have any. Yeah. That's just ding ding. So adjust the childcare, sell a car. Take 6 jobs. He works on the side even though he's not supposed to.
And for 8 months, you grind it out like that?
And for 8 months, and you pay a price for him to get to be this? I'm okay with paying a price to win, but I'm not okay paying a price knowing I'm going to lose. That's a bad idea.
It's one life event away from, to your point, foreclosure, a car being repoed,
they can't even
all
make
of
it. It's not. It's 1 month away.
Well, yes.
You can't even get to the food budget here. This is the Ramsey Show. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. And we're happy to talk to you, America, about your life and your money. So when I wrote the first book I ever wrote, Financial Peace, in 1994... Raise your hand if you weren't born yet. Okay.
They did in the lobby.
Yeah. When I wrote that book, I proposed a concept in our seminars that we were doing in those days, and it was a different world in 1994.
Sure. Yeah.
And
the 90s are back a little bit.
I proposed a concept, and I got so much. One of the first times I got just showered in hate.
Oh, I can't wait.
It was fabulous. And so the concept was this, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but they were a whole lot lower than they are today. So I'll make up some numbers that would be similar to what they probably were. I said something like, if a lady is making $30,000 a year at her job, she has 2 kids, and daycare is $1,000 a month, and she buys clothing, professional clothing, to go to that job, and she dry cleans the professional
because
clothing.
in the 90s, you were wearing suits.
To go to that job.
For a lot of places.
Well, they weren't wearing sweatpants to work in those days, or your pajamas. And so it's a different world, like I said. And if because she was working, she didn't prepare meals from scratch at home because time and fatigue, the family would go out to eat more, and they would spend...
Not from scratch, but just meaning like home-cooked meal.
Spend more on pre-prepared things or going out to eat.
Yeah.
Because of fatigue. Ordering pizza because I'm tired and don't feel like cooking.
Or the husband is choosing not to cook. Yes,
well,
keep going.
Or whatever. I'm just saying. And so 1994.
I know,
okay?
this is the 90s.
So just hang with me here. But I propose that if you add all of these things up, making $28,000 a year, paying $1,000 a month for childcare, these other things added in, after taxes come out, and gasoline to drive to said job, and wear and tear on the car to drive to said job, when you take all of those things out, she's probably losing money working. And it might be cheaper, net, to stay home with the kids if she wants to. I didn't say she should be at home barefoot and pregnant. I did not say that. I said if she chooses to and wants to be at home. Now, people said I said a lot of things I didn't say, but that's exactly what I said. But even on the premise that she can't afford, she's not making enough to justify working.
Yes, or he's
with
not
the
making
expenses,
yes.
with the expenses at that time.
Yep.
And I caught hell for suggesting that net of daycare, net of all these other expenses, she might not be making anything, as you know, because I did some math. And dad blame if I didn't get blamed for the other side of that, not that, but the other way.
Of what?
Of not understanding the cost of daycare and that you can't afford to work because of the cost of daycare. The stinking Wall Street Journal, some woman writes an article trashing me.
Recently, not in 94.
No, just the other day. Just the other day. I said on the air that women, that they can't, that daycare is ridiculous, and so you just need to shut up and go to work. I didn't say that at all. I've said quite the opposite since 1994. And if you're going to hate me for the right thing. Okay? If you're going to bitch about something Dave said, pick out something he actually said. Okay?
But I think there was a clip of you saying that's a ridiculous amount to pay for childcare. And they clipped that, not knowing the whole call.
Well, of course.
And
because it's the freaking media.
I know, but that specific.
And some idiot on TikTok.
Yes, that specific guy was paying.
He was paying like $28,000 for one kid.
Yeah.
That is dumb.
Well, average right now is $16,000.
Yes.
Okay. So depending on where you are, if you're in New York City and Manhattan, that is going to look different.
No, that guy was calling in. He was trying to put his kid in
I don't remember.
Daycare.
I'm just telling. No, I don't know.
It was Gucci Daycare
I don't know.
He was signing up for.
I don't know.
His upper lip was sunburned because his nose was in the air.
We don't know that.
Yes, I do.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
But I am not. I'm on quite the other side of what I got blamed for, which is what I'm upset for. I did not. I mean, all I'm talking about, that particular instance, it's like somebody calling up and going, I'm paying $46,000 a year for my child to attend a private elementary school, and I make $60,000 a year. What do you think of that? I think you're a moron. That's what I think of that. Okay? You can't do math. Your kid shouldn't be in a school that fancy. Okay? Because you're just stuck up. That's all that is. And that's what this guy was. It had nothing to do with the actual cost of daycare.
I think the thing is, it's such a hard subject because unlike 94, you fast forward to today, where it is. It's like childcare. I think it's
ludicrous.
30 to almost 40% in some areas since like 2019. Like it really is crazy.
It's going up faster than tuition. I know that.
Yeah, for working moms and parents.
No, it's not different than 94. So the exact same thing is true. Some people now, with the cost of daycare, aren't making money.
That's right.
I totally
agree.
So I'm still saying the same thing.
Yes. No, I know.
But now I'm getting hated for saying the other thing that I didn't say.
I know, but I think, too, the conversation of a household income, because so many families are dual income. And a lot of families are dual income and make on average, right? Like in that 60, 70 range per year.
Yep.
And then in order to pay the mortgage and have the food, I mean, like
and these days, mama might be making more than daddy.
100%.
That's not unusual at all.
Oh yeah, that's the other option is that the spouse who's
the
making
dad is
more,
the one that goes home. I don't care.
Right.
That's not the point. It's a math thing is all I'm looking at.
And the problem is, though, again, people are getting to this place now because it's risen so quickly that it's hard. That they're having to look now at exactly what you're saying, at the options of like, oh my gosh. And I've known some moms that they're like, I got to go home. Like I have 3 kids under the age of 5 and we can't
afford it.
Literally can't afford it.
You make $40,000 a year today and you have 3 kids under the age of 5 in daycare, you're not making money.
I know.
That's that 1994
and so
example.
What sucks about
in $24.
Right.
$24.
I know. And there's some other ways you can look at it. I mean, you
got to find an alternative child care situation if you're going to work in that situation.
Yes.
Because you're not actually making money.
Yep.
You're working and going backward.
And what's hard is for the single mom too, who doesn't.
Oh, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, who almost doesn't even have that option.
But here's the other thing:
the
16,000 is the average nationally. This includes expensive markets, inexpensive markets, and it includes expensive daycares and inexpensive daycares. And so there's a lot of ways to skin the cat. There's a lot of ways to take care of the kids. But it is a valid thing to sit and look at it as a family and make
a
decisions.
Call of the values, yes.
But people don't they get emotional because the issue is their children.
And you want the best for your kids.
And their brains melt down.
Yeah.
And they quit doing math.
Because as a mom with little kids who works, you go through some of these places, you're like, I don't feel comfortable sending my kid here too,
then
right? So
don't.
I know. But it's the idea that it's a hard subject for a lot of people.
It is hard.
It is.
Your home is probably the biggest purchase you'll ever make. And with the real estate market like it is now, you'll need a mortgage company you can trust. That's Churchill Mortgage. You guys, buying a home is not a button push. It's a process. It takes building a relationship with an expert who will dig into the details and give you peace of mind without busting your budget. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country. And they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Go to churchillmortgage.com to get started.
So we left everyone with...
We're not going to keep the rant going.
How hard that subject is in life.
Yeah, how high childcare is and how hard it is.
Yes.
It is high and it is hard. The trick is to not be irrational and justify stupid numbers because you love your children. Love of your children does not make math go away. Math still will roost. It'll still come home. So we want to help you face this high cost. And if you go to RamseySolutions.com, we have a blog there called 13 Ways to Afford the High Cost of Childcare. Almost like everyone at Ramsey knows that childcare is high.
Yes.
Just in case some of you on TikTok weren't listening, we're aware that childcare cost is high, but that does not mean that you suddenly get a pass on math. The cost of real estate in Manhattan is high, but some of you can't afford to live there because of math. It's that simple. The cost of real estate in Tokyo is high, and some of you can't afford to live there because of math. So we'll help you with this, but I'm not going to help you with denial or the system's broken, so I'm going to ignore math. No, that's not what we're not going to go down that alley.
No, but there are some different ways, creative ways to kind of look at it. And one of the options is what we talked about in the last segment was maybe one parent decides to stay home, right? Like maybe it gets to a point
that's a valid option.
Yeah. So
and here's the interesting thing. I'll add one more thing. I said we weren't going to extend the rant, but now we are. Okay. There are parents out there right now with this thing. You and I have talked about this at length, mom guilt. If you work, you're guilty because you're not home. If you're home, you feel guilty because you're not working. Moms can't win.
Yep.
They got guilt either way. Society heaps it on them. They heap it on themselves. If I'm at work, I feel guilty because I'm not home with the kids. If I'm at home with the kids, I feel guilty because I'm not using my degree and I'm not out making money. And so you just can't get away from it. Guys don't struggle from this, by and large.
Yeah, the mom guilt is
a very real thing. Yeah. So in the midst of that statement, there are ladies who really would prefer to be at home with their children.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And have never sat down and done the math that says you should be. Mm-hmm. And so this sets you free.
Because stay-at-home moms.
I want to set you free if that's you.
Yes.
If you're a professional lady, Rachel's in the workplace, my other daughter works. If you're a professional lady in the workplace, we're not trying to say you should go home or you're not a good mom. Mm-hmm. We're not saying that at all. We're saying if that's your choice to be at home, but you feel like you should, that the family needs money for working, and yet you're not netting anything, this math is going to give you permission to go home.
Yes, there's a value, a dollar value for stay-at-home moms, the amount of work that they do.
No question.
For sure.
Ashley in Savannah, Georgia. Hi, Ashley. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, what's up?
Well, to continue off of what y'all are talking about, how do my husband and I pay off debt, rebuild our savings, and potentially have another baby while living in this world where expenses keep increasing, like daycare and rent?
What do y'all make? What's the household income?
We both make $80,000.
Okay.
So you make $160,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You make $160,000.
Well, our joint.
Well, that would be
yeah. How much debt do you guys have?
So we are renting at $2,300, and then obviously like power and all that stuff.
How much do you owe on your cars?
Well, like just debt, yeah.
We have no car notes, car loans. My car is paid off, but she is reaching 200,000 miles, and my husband has an old Blazer that we just can't rely on.
Do you have any debt
from our car?
What debt do you guys have?
So I have 2 credit cards. One is $3,700 that I'm making minimum payments on. Unfortunately, one was charged off recently. My other card, which is about $15,000, and I'm pretty sure there's some medical debt floating around.
How long have you all been making $160,000 and overspending?
The $160,000 just happened this year.
What were you making in the other years?
Well, COVID really rocked us. 60-day furlough turned into over a year. And then I took a job for $50,000, and I just got back up to $80,000.
What was your husband making?
He's been slowly progressing as well. So probably about $60,000 and just got to $80,000 as well.
Okay. So y'all were around that 100 mark for a while.
All right. So here's what's happened, okay? You went through a downturn in your incomes, and you slowly progressed back to and beyond where you were before, and you faster than your income went up, your spending went up. Because you didn't give me anywhere. Nothing you've given me so far tells us where $160,000 is going. I have no idea why you should be this broke. How in the world you have a $3,000 credit card charged off making $160 means you're out of control, disorganized, and chaotic in your house?
So the credit card, I haven't put anything on a credit card in years. This is like really directly
Yeah, but why don't you
related.
just pay it off? You make $160,000. It's $3,000 because you didn't have any money because all your money's going to restaurants and trips you can't afford.
We're not eating out. We're not going on trips. I'm not getting my nails done. I haven't got my hair. Seriously?
Where's your money going?
Okay, hold on.
Seriously, where's all your money going then? If you're in control and you have a budget laid out, where's your $160,000 going? Because it's not going to rent. You don't have that much rent.
Well, how much rent?
It's not going to debt. It's $2,300. She told us. Your rent's low. You don't have any debt. Where's your money going?
All of our money goes to bills.
What bills?
Food.
You don't have any bills.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, what bills do you have?
Don't yell at her.
What bills do you have? Hello?
For help.
What? I'm sorry. What bills do you have?
All of our bills combined are $4,000 a month.
Okay, that's $2,300 for rent. What's the other $1,700?
$1,250 for daycare.
Okay.
Which keeps going up year over year.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
And then power, electricity, all the basic minimum.
Okay.
Gas, food.
Okay, so did you say $4,000 a month? Did I hear you right?
Correct.
That's $48,000 a year.
And then plus childcare.
No, that includes childcare.
Did it? The $4,000
It's
included childcare?
$1,250 for childcare. So that's $48,000 out of $160,000. So somewhere I'm still missing $102,000.
Taxes.
Okay, somewhere I'm still missing almost $100,000. That's what I'm talking about.
This is recent, and then any money that we have left over is going into the snowball method.
How much is left over per month that you guys have? After
About
taxes.
$500.
I'm sorry?
$500.
And we're just dumping that into savings.
$500.
Okay, something's really, 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 really off in your math. Because you gave me $48,000 worth of debt. $500 is $6,000. That's $54,000 out of $160,000. I'm still over $100,000 that's missing, not counting taxes. You following this?
Are you looking at a yearly number? Like,
Yeah,
I'm talking about what
I am.
we get, like monthly, weekly.
I am.
This is all
$500
Okay,
a
Ashley,
month
how
is
much-
$6,000 a year.
Hold on. Ashley, how much hits your checking account every month, income-wise, after taxes? What are you guys bringing home now?
I get $1,800 every 2 weeks.
And what
And
is
then
he?
his
What
is
about
around,
him?
That's around the same thing as well.
Okay.
That's not $160,000 a year.
Before taxes.
Yeah. No. How much you got? You got money going in your
6,000.
401k?
No.
Okay. You have way too much withholding. Okay. You
Maybe
guys
for
need
your
to.
taxes.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Hold on. Here's what we're going to do. I can't break this because I can't break her. So I'm gonna hook you up with one of our financial counselors, Ashley, who can sit down and calmly go through this and try to explain it to you, because I can't. Nothing you're saying makes sense.
Well, 60,000. Yeah.
These numbers are $50,000, $60,000 off. She's just so far off, it's unbelievable. And so there's something else going on with your math here. I don't know where your money's going. You don't know where your money's going. All you figured out is that it's not working. And so you guys have got to sit down, because $160,000 a year is not $1,800 every 2 weeks times 2. Hey guys, here's a quick math refresher. There are only 24 hours in a day. So you and your team need to streamline time-consuming tasks to focus on the activities that actually make money. Smart businesses are realizing that to reduce headaches as they scale, they need NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one platform. With NetSuite, you reduce IT costs because NetSuite is cloud-based. You cut the cost of maintaining multiple systems because you've got one source of truth. And you improve efficiency by bringing all your major business processes into one platform, slashing manual tasks and errors. So join the 37,000 plus companies, including Ramsey Solutions, that have done the math and are boosting their efficiency with NetSuite. And right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist designed to drive the right behaviors for your business absolutely free at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey to get your free KPI checklist. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Our event season is in full swing. We have 3 events coming up where you can experience the Ramsey teachings live and in person with thousands of people just like you. Our next one is the Total Money Makeover weekend event. Rachel and me, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, Jade, George, all of us will be speaking at this 2-day ultimate motivator event to get fired up and wired up to live the life you've always wanted. Tell every dollar what to do, make every dollar behave, and learn to win with money. Get out of debt, become wealthy, be outrageously generous. We're going to show you how to do every bit of it. May 10th and 11th here on our campus. We're already half sold out, so if you want to come, you need to get your tickets immediately. Then on May 21st and 22nd, I'm going to be doing a virtual event with George Camel helping me as we unpack not only the basics of investing, but the Dave Ramsey's Investing Essentials, something I've never done before. I'm going to open my playbook, my personal playbook on real estate. I own several $100 million worth, and I'll show you what I've done and how I've done it. And it's not a TikTok video. It's not easy, but I can show you how to really do it. I've actually done it. It's not a theory for me. I don't live in my mother's basement. So we're going to walk this through for you. Then Rachel and Dr. John Deloney will be doing the Money and Marriage Getaway October 24th and 26th through the 26th, that is, here on our campus as well. Spend a weekend away with your spouse in Nashville and with Dr. John Deloney and Rachel Cruz. Real life answers to real marriage questions. Gets a little dicey in there sometimes, I'm just saying. But you're going to love the event. You're going to learn a lot. It's pretty incredible. So any of these 3 things you can get at RamseySolutions.com/events, and they all 3 are likely to be sellouts well before, so get your tickets quickly. On the debt-free stage in the Ramsey Solutions headquarters lobby is Tyler and Jesse. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve, man. Tell me, where do you guys live?
Worcester, Ohio.
Cool. What's that near?
Akron.
Akron. All right,
Nice.
cool. And how much debt have you guys paid?
$289,000.
Woo! How long did that take?
44 months.
Good for you.
Nice.
And your range of income?
We started at 116, and now we make 169.
Good. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a physical therapist.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. What was the 289? What kind of debt?
It was 2 car loans, and then most of it was a student loan.
Wow. Okay.
Nice, y'all.
Good for you
done.
guys. How long y'all been married?
4 years today.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Happy
Yeah, thank you.
anniversary. So
They said it in
fun.
unison. That was
I
perfect.
know.
Yeah.
So great.
Very
So
cool,
great.
you guys. So somebody comes out with a bunch of student loans. Maybe physical therapy, could be. I don't know.
Yes, a doctor's degree.
Possible doing a PT degree. Yeah. And you guys get married and you go, okay, cleanup time. Tell me how that happened and what the conversation sounded like. How'd you plug into Ramsey?
So I grew up, my parents did the Dave Ramsey program, the Baby Steps. And so when I graduated in 2017 with my doctorate degree, I asked my dad, I'm like, oh, what do I do about this? And he said, you need to read, Total Money Makeover, and you need to get signed up for FPU.
Wow.
It'll be the best money you've ever spent. And so I went to FPU a year before meeting Tyler. And then I met Tyler at work. We started dating the next year. We started talking about marriage, and I said, okay, I want you to go through this course with me.
Yes, I jumped on board.
You need to know what comes with me.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So we had the talk, the
Yep.
money talk.
Yep.
How long had you been dating before you disclosed hundreds of thousands of student loan debt?
2 months.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Get this out of the way.
All right. Just see if he's
So
a keeper
great.
or not, right?
Yeah.
So great. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so for 4 years, you've been doing this. So pretty much since you've been married,
Yeah.
you guys have been on this. Okay, so how hard was that? Because I feel like, especially when you have a new event, like whether it's marriage or a baby or you graduate from college, like whatever it is, you kind of want to jump into a new season and just enjoy life. So how hard was it being newlyweds, knowing like we're buckling down and doing this?
It was rough. I mean, we got married during the pandemic.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so my income actually reduced.
You got married at the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
we had a
about the
COVID
time
wedding.
the quarantine started.
Yeah, we were on shutdown whenever
Yep.
we got married.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is the end of March. Yeah. Oh my gosh, and it's your anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, so yeah, so the whole pandemic, you guys were doing this then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, trying to.
Yes. Yeah.
My income reduced by half because my outpatient hours were reduced. So it's just amazing because I actually found other opportunities, screening in the ED on third shift, going and, doing cash-based physical therapy in people's homes that didn't want to go, out in the community. Yeah, God really showed up.
Yeah.
She got after it too.
Wow, you were getting it. Good for y'all.
Amazing.
Wow. So you get married right at the quarantine, and then you go wide open into this thing. So what was the hardest part of the whole journey?
I think the hardest part was just not playing the comparison game and walking our own path. We're at an age right now where everybody in our life is making different milestones, and we just had to celebrate ours. Through the debt snowball, the way it's set up, you can still celebrate while you're paying off your debt. So, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, just gotta shut up and do it. I mean, I think what got me through was that I was hearing the debt-free screams of all these other people who, lost a spouse or, just different things.
Hard life stuff during it. Yeah.
And, I'm like, okay, they can do it. What's my excuse?
Look, we can do
what's
this.
our excuse?
How much did you guys work, would you say? What was like at the peak? How many hours a week was like the...
Oh gosh, we were like animals. We would go whole weeks without seeing each other because we worked opposite schedules. With my job, I think I sometimes was like somewhere around 60, 65 hours in a week.
Oh my gosh, yep.
Yeah, as a fireman, I could go upwards of 100 hours a week, but sometimes we get to sleep, but not always. It's not guaranteed by any stretch.
Okay, so besides work and income, what's the other part of this that you would tell somebody?
The key. What's the key?
What's the thing? The number one thing?
To get out of debt.
Just take every opportunity you can to increase your income. I know we did. We just went after every certification. We're at work anyways. We're spending the hours anyways. Let's just do that too. Let's try to get, our time worth more. And then also too at home, just making meals at home, packing lunches. We made our own laundry detergent. I mean, just, all these little things that really add up.
Yes. Yeah. And just to add on to that, we're lucky enough that the phase of life we're in, we don't have children yet, anything like that. So we took this time for a lot of professional development. Like our life wasn't on hold, really, because we've developed a lot. So
that's
in
awesome,
other ways.
You guys. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Your incomes have increased permanently. Because of that. So,
so nice. And no payments.
Yes. You're heroes. Well done. So the first 4 years, you worked your tail end off for 4 years. You're 100% debt free. Was it worth it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's amazing to walk into work and know that we have the ball now. This, every dollar goes towards our goals. We're not paying some bank.
It's amazing.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Just put me in, Coach.
That's right.
I love it. Well done. Well done. So proud of y'all. Who was cheering you on? I bet your dad.
Yep. Our family, our friends. We definitely talked to people who had gone through the steps and were successful with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, at work, I almost have like a second family. We brought some people around, and they were cheering us on at the end too. So it was awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Very cool.
So great, you guys.
Well done, guys. Home run, touchdown. Way to go, heroes. Hey, we've got a every dollar subscription for you for the premium. You're probably already using it, and that'll extend it for you. And another one for you to give away for somebody that can't believe you really did this. I'm impressed with these numbers. Very hard work. Very hard work. She's not kidding. Lots and lots of hours. She said it like 6 times, but she's exactly right.
Oh, yeah.
Really happened. Really happened. All right, it's Tyler and Jesse from Akron, Ohio. $289,000 paid off in 44 months, making 116 to 169. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! Way to go, you guys! And now their debt-free scream is permanently enshrined in the YouTube Hall of Fame to encourage other people who are in the middle of their hard journey, telling you it's worth it. This is The Ramsey Show. You've been gazelle intense, you've eaten more beans and rice than you knew existed, and now you're ready to make your biggest investment better. Blinds.com is a great way to dress up a room or your entire home. Whether you're comfortable with do-it-yourself projects or you don't even know what a Phillips head screwdriver is, well, trust Blinds.com to take care of you like Ramsey would. You can do the measuring and installation yourself, or you can let Blinds.com's professionals handle everything for you. Blinds.com offers a completely hassle-free experience. Count on them to deliver stylish window treatments from premium brands without the premium markup. You'll never have to deal with pushy salespeople in your home just to get a quote. But you can count on free shipping, free samples, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee so that you can rest easy. That's why we've recommended Blinds.com for over 10 years. Shop Blinds.com right now and get up to 50% off. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply. Open phones this hour. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us. Today's question comes from Anonymous.
Ooh.
I haven't heard from Anonymous in a while. He used to write me all the time. Usually he doesn't have nice things to say.
Oh.
But let's see what Anonymous in Arkansas says.
It says, how do you learn discipline? I spend so much of my income on going out to eat. I work overnights at Walmart and make $20 an hour, but my bank account always is a race to zero. I borrow money from my paycheck before I get it and use apps like Dave.
Yeah, there is one. It's not mine.
To get cash advance. Is it really named Dave?
Yeah, they named it after. They did that on purpose.
Oh no,
yeah.
Dave. Oh gosh,
It's a cash
it charges
advance app.
$5 for an instant deposit. I feel like I can't get out of this $3,000 credit card hole that I'm in. I also owe the IRS around $4,000. If I was disciplined with my money, I wouldn't be in this spot. I'm 27. I need to get my stuff together.
Wow. Anonymous, that is a very... I think you have your stuff together. My dad used to tell me that when you recognize a problem, 90% of the problem is solved. And so I think you're on a really, really good path here. I did the same thing, Anonymous. During the Fauci pandemic, I ate every donut in a 50-mile radius, and I looked down, and there was a thing growing on the front of me. It looked like a belly. It was ridiculous. There's still a little of it left, but I haven't got rid of all of it. But I said, Dave, you're a mess. Dave, you're an idiot. Dave, you're out of control.
That is not good self-talk.
If you would not eat everything in sight, you would not be the size of an elephant,
You are
Dave.
not an idiot. You are making idiot choices.
I was doing idiot
stuff. But it's not
stuff.
who you are.
Well, I'm just saying.
Your
It was not an
millennial
identity.
daughter.
I did not have an identity crisis. Never fear. But I mean, the point is that I looked down just like you did, and I said, what I'm doing is not working. Mm-hmm. I'm getting negative results for negative behavior. I've got to change my behavior. That's a huge thing, and I did. I hadn't had a donut since the Fauci pandemic. So, I lost 37 pounds, and I've walked every day for 1,473 days as of this morning, at least a mile, up to 5 to 7 miles in most days. So, I get it. I understand. But what did I do there to change my my negative behaviors that were giving me negative results was I said, what has to be true? What has to change? Well, it's, weight loss is a lot like money. It's a fairly simple concept. You eat less. There it is. And you exercise more. There it is. And so with money, what are we going to do? We're going to make more. So you need to probably be working more. And maybe even at a different place, I don't know. You might make more. You might be able to find a better job. And then the second thing, Anonymous, is I would be giving the Every Dollar app. You can download it for free. If you want the upgrade, it's just a few dollars and it connects to your bank. But that's the world's best budgeting app. And what the budget does is it's making every one of your dollars behave before you get them. That's the trick to budgeting, is you say, before it occurs, before the money comes into my hand, I'm going to already have spent it on paper on purpose on the app or whatever.
Yep.
And that will give you control. Then the discipline will come from you saying, I don't want to live like this anymore, so I'm going to live like that. I'm going to be the guy that wrote this stuff down. I'm going to be the guy that doesn't eat a donut. I'm going to be the guy that doesn't sit on his butt and watch Netflix. He's going to get up and go walk 4 miles. I'm going to be the guy that does something different because I want a different result. But you've got something to measure it against. And again, in my case, it was the scales.
Yeah.
In your case, it's some debt, and your written down budget will give you tremendous motivation if you really mean it. And I'll be honest, I've been doing this 32 years. Reading this email from you, Anonymous, I think you really mean it.
Yeah, and you see things like I spend so much of my income on going out to eat. So like the planning with your money,
yep,
you plan food though. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's and just to say, okay, I'm going to meal plan on Sunday night, and I'm going to know what I'm going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. And it's not going to be great food. It's going to be cheap, and it's going to be quick. But I'm going to do that
My
instead
buddies
of
want to go out
going
for a
out.
drink. I can't afford to.
Yep, and so it is.
My buddies want to go out to eat. I can't afford to.
And it's like a muscle. It takes time. It takes time to build it. And so there's going to be.
But Anonymous, that couple that was just up here that was making $170,000 a year, they made their lunch and took it to work.
Mm-hmm.
Hello? And they paid off $289,000 in debt.
And change is hard, though. And I think, like...
Oh, it is hard.
Well, and we laugh at you sometimes, or I laugh at you sometimes, because you're like, change. Just change.
Well,
you do this, like, clapping thing.
funny.
And I'm like, but here's the deal. It is difficult because there is a norm that you set in. It's a human experience of, like, what I know is normal is comfortable, even though I know it's wrong. And that change, that's almost the scarier step. It's almost the scarier step to say, that's why I say baby step one, sometimes the hardest, because you're like, I'm engaging in something new. And so, in a sense.
Changing to do something that feels hard is hard.
Yes.
But change is not necessarily hard. If you change from driving a horrible car to driving a great car, that's not hard.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess so. That's a good change.
So that's not a hard change, okay? If you change from living in a dump to moving into $1 million house, that's not a hard change. Change is easy. What you've got to do,
benefit, it's when the change has sacrifice.
What you've got to do is you have to say, is this hard change taking me to a better place? Then I got to work my way through it.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? And it's like the bumper sticker when I'm fat from the donuts. I see this bumper sticker and it says, nothing tastes as good as it feels to be thin. And so don't put it in your mouth. It's that kind of thing. You can't outrun a Big Mac. And so you can't do enough exercise to eat Big Macs. It doesn't work. So that's it. And so these things, you get, okay, I'm gonna live like no one else so that later I can live and give like no one else. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but it yields a harvest of righteousness. And so instead of sitting down and looking at my numbers and going, well, this can't be done. There's no way. Instead, I start looking at my numbers and go, what has to change? Mm-hmm. What must be different? Okay, we're not eating out. We're going to have a written game plan. We're going to look at increasing our income. And when you align yourself to all of those, because the belief that you're getting to, that those are going to take you to a better place, you'll instantly be motivated. No one exercises, well, I won't say that. Most people don't exercise because it's fun. Some of you do, but you're sick. But most people exercise because it's good for you.
But you feel good, though.
You do get a high.
Make you happy.
You do get a high off
people
of it. You do
don't
get a high
kill their
off
husbands.
You get a high off of it when you're done.
Name that movie.
But I'm just saying, it's not because it's like, whoo-hoo, And so
Legally Blonde, James.
Yesterday morning it was raining. I did not want to walk. It was not fun. I did not want to walk. What I wanted was the result more than I wanted the action. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't tell you that was fun.
You should lift.
Yeah, I should do something. But yeah, but at least I did that. So I could do that. You're trying to find something I can do indoors. I know. But anyway, the point being, Anonymous, I really think you're onto something. I really think there's good things are going to come to your life because discipline. No discipline seems pleasant at the time. His question was, how do you learn discipline? But it yields a harvest of righteousness. The way you focus on it is you focus on the harvest
of what you're going to get. But there's also the day in and day out consistency, that it just becomes a part of who you are. James Clear talks about how new habits, you just take on a new identity. I am a person that fills in the blank.
I am not a person that borrows money.
Yep.
I'm a person that does not have credit cards.
I'm a person who takes their lunch to work. That is who I am, right? I mean, like it's like these new identity markers.
I'm a person with 4 pieces of plastic in my pocket, 2 debit cards, my driver's license, my handgun carry permit. These are the only plastic I own. I don't have any other plastic. That's the person that I am. And, somebody says, well, you need to borrow money to do that. Well, I can't do that because I'm a person that doesn't borrow money. Mm-hmm. And so you're a person that has discipline. You're a person that works extra. You're a person that doesn't eat out when they're broke. You're a person that doesn't go to happy hour when you should be working overtime. You're a person, and that you're right. That James Clear change of identity in Atomic Habits is a big
really
deal.
Big, yeah.
Anonymous, I think this is a fabulous question, and I'm really encouraged for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author and co-host of the super popular Smart Money Happy Hour on the Ramsey Networks, is my co-host today. Also my daughter. Phone number 888-825-5225. Victoria starts this hour in Portland, Oregon. Hey, Victoria, what's up?
Yeah, hey, Dave and Rachel. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
Yeah, my fiance and I are getting married in July. Just this week, we started your Financial Peace University. And within the last month, we've been meeting weekly to go over our personal budgets through the EveryDollar app. For personal debt, my fiance has about $4,000 left on his student loans that should be paid off in 2 months.
Cool.
My fiance is a contractor. He owns a construction company. He brings home but his salary is about $65 annually. I work full time. I have a side business that I recently started with my employer, and I bring home the same amount.
Oh, you guys are doing great. Congratulations.
Thank you. My question is, how should we approach business debt?
Who has business debt?
We both do. So my fiance has business debt. He has about $180.
On
and
what?
Then
what did he buy?
On a lot of equipment. So he has an excavator, 2 trucks, dump trailer, a loan, and a credit card. And there may be another loan.
Okay. And what about
I'm not
you?
recalling. Yeah. So for me, mine might be a little bit unique. My business partner, who is my employer, he has funded $30,000 into the business.
I'm sorry. Your business partner is your employer. Those things are inconsistent.
Well, your day job, and then you guys started a business. Is that right?
Correct.
Oh,
yeah, correct.
Oh, okay.
Outside of my 40 hours.
And so that person put $30,000 into the business that you started together?
Correct.
How is that debt then? They invested into it.
Well, I guess it's not really then, is it? Because I'm not paying it back right now.
You're not supposed to. Is it supposed to be repaid by the partnership before profits come out or something?
That's how I've always assumed, is that he would get paid off.
Do we not have an agreement as to how it will be paid off?
I guess for that one, no, we don't.
Okay, you need to get one by the end of the weekend.
Okay.
We need to know what's going on here. This is the kind of stuff that destroys partnerships and businesses.
Okay.
She has one set of expectations and you have another. And then all of a sudden the thing gets blindsided. So you guys need to determine that very, very quickly. Usually it would be something like a percentage of the profits go to the debt until the debt is cleared.
Okay.
That would be
okay.
a normal
Thank you.
thing. And until there's profit,
they take
until
debt
there's profit, there wouldn't be any. It's not debt, and until
It's
their
investments, yeah.
their investment is recouped is really actually the terminology. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Thank
over
you.
on his side, he needs to quit buying equipment.
Yep. As of correct. And he's on board with that, not buying additional equipment.
Yeah, he's got way too much. He may need to sell some. Now he took a salary of $65,000. What was his actual profit?
I don't know. So next week in our budget meeting, we're going to be going over his business, and then I'm actually going to be set up taking QuickBooks classes, and I'm going to be taking over that for his business to start helping out.
Okay. All right. So, probably
I do know.
Probably we need to find half of that debt in equipment to sell. Because I don't think his business, I don't think he's got another $100,000 coming out of that business. So I don't think he's making much money considering the amount of debt he has. So I'm scared.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
$180,000 on a $65,000 net is really scary.
Right.
That's what I mean. $80,000, I can see my way to work through that. So I'm selling about half of this stuff, give or take, and try to get a bunch of the debt paid off that way. Now, then let me give you one other nuance, and then let's address your question. Okay, the nuance is this: they're technically in both of these situations are not business debt because he signed personally for that equipment.
Right.
The bank doesn't think he has a business. The bank thinks it's him. The law thinks it's him. And you didn't borrow money, so you don't have debt. You have an investor that has a recoup plan on the investment before you guys divvy up profits or as you divvy up profits or something. You got to figure that out. But his equipment is personal debt that he uses for business. That's the legal, technical thing. That does matter because, it's him that'll be bankrupt if this goes sideways, not his business.
Mm-hmm.
That's what matters. So now, once we set all of that, then we say we're going to get the QuickBooks going. You're doing very good stuff, Victoria. You're asking all the right questions. You're doing all the right things. Congratulations. And you've got good answers to everything so far. Now, when you're doing the QuickBooks, what we suggest when I'm teaching our Entree Leadership brand, and he can start listening to the Entree Leadership podcast if he wants to, as if he wants to learn business stuff from us. It's how we teach small businesses to grow their business like we grew this one. When I find that they have debt, I do it differently than I do with your personal credit card debt. Okay? What we do there is we say, after he makes a basic living wage out of the business, which now he's getting married, he might make that be $40,000. Okay? Because put with your income, you guys can probably make it at home if he's doing that. Everything after that, we're going to call profit. So pretend like he was just a manager at this business and got paid $40,000 and I was the owner, then whatever was left from a keeping books standpoint, income minus expenses, including the $40,000 manager, is net profit. You know that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So of that net profit figure, whatever it is, and you can adjust the salary to be whatever you want it to be, but of that net profit, I want the vast majority of it each month to go to debt reduction and the rest of it to go to retained earnings, which is business talk for savings account. Okay. Now, so most companies will do something like 70-30 or 80-20. So like 80% of your net profit after you take a living wage goes towards the debt, 20 goes to build up your retained earnings because you have to have some cash in business to operate.
Mm-hmm. And how much? How many months of that would be of retained earnings?
No. He's going to every month take a percentage. Every month take a percentage of the net profit, whatever that is. A bunch of it, 80%. Whatever. Set the formula ahead of time. Y'all look at that and figure it out. 70%, 80%, whatever is going to go to debt. The other is going to go in retained earnings. If retained earnings gets too big, and you got too much money in the bank, reach over and pay off a piece of equipment, right? But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to be your issue. You're probably going to be short of cash with the formula I'm giving you. You're probably not going to have as much as you want, especially now that you can't borrow money anymore to buy more equipment. You're going to want cash to do that after you get the other equipment paid off. but that's a formula that'll work for you. I think you guys are on the track to success. Well done. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Cassie is with us in Denver. Hi, Cassie. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I'm looking for advice on how to improve my relationship with my husband as we struggle with burnout and the feeling of equity during baby steps 2 and 3. So we've been doing the baby steps for 8 months and had our first baby 7 months ago. And prior to that, it was easy to feel like equal contributors to the household and relationship, which is important to us. But now he's working extra and I'm doing more at home with the baby, even though we're both working really hard. It's just hard to get that feeling that we're both in the same spot. We're both dealing with the burnout right now, and we're just kind of looking for any advice you guys might have.
You're not burnout. You have a new baby.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I'm keeping one of my grandkids tonight. It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the littlest one. It's hard. Yeah. Because they take up a lot of energy. They can't do anything, can they? They're completely helpless.
Yeah, and I guess, me taking on more of the household stuff, I'm feeling a different burnt out than he is.
Yeah. Well, you got a brand new thing. You've never had this gig before.
Yeah. Right.
If you guys weren't working baby step 2 and 3, just having a newborn, it ain't no picnic.
Yeah, and it's a different kind of exhaustion.
Yeah.
What you're doing, Cassie.
You never sleep.
Right.
Yeah, it's that, and it's just it's a lot.
Awful.
It's a lot of stress. How much debt do you guys have left?
$39,000.
Okay. Do you guys have a timeline on when you think it'll be paid off?
So we know we're getting inheritance, probably $50,000 to $60,000 this summer, but we're trying to live like we're not getting that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
Trying to make the sacrifices now so we don't go back into that. And then also we don't have a house. So the end goal is a down payment for our house.
The more you can pay off, the more the inheritance can go towards the house. I love that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way, number one, we have brand new baby is a different kind of thing. I'm not poking fun. I'm empathizing. It's a real, it's one of the toughest times for exhaustion and a different kind of fatigue than you'll ever have any other time in your life. Okay. As a matter of fact, every day it gets better.
Yeah.
After this, it really does.
Through the night last night.
Yay, there you go. I'm not kidding. Every day gets better. It's precious and it's wonderful, but it's exhausting. And so it's a different kind of thing than just we're working our tails off to get out of debt. It's also a different kind of thing because your body's adjusting after having had a child. And so that the physical attributes of that affect this discussion too in a very real way. And that's wonderful too, but it's also a very real part of the chemistry of what's going on.
It's just tiring.
Yeah,
so,
it's just tired. You get tired.
Yeah, Cass. So your husband, are you working outside at all the home, or are you there full time?
Oh yeah, I work full time too, and so yeah.
Have you guys sat down? Because even my husband and I, we did this when I was working and we had kids, where it was like, what are the things around the house that I need help with that I feel like, oh my gosh, like I can't do all of this. And where are the areas that he could step in, right? And everything's for a season. Life is going to change when even if you have a second baby, it changes the dynamic again. But have you guys sat down and had those conversations? Because I think to the responsibility at times, especially if you're a driver you're a strong driver as a woman, it can feel like, oh yeah, I'll just take care of it all. I can do it. And asking for help is really difficult. And so have you guys sat down and talked about that?
Yeah, we have, and it's honestly gotten better than since I originally wrote in. Already, it's improved from talking.
Okay,
but
good.
I think it's hard because he works a physical job and mine's a desk job, and then we just start getting into that whole.
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
that doesn't matter.
Who deserves the relaxing?
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
no. I think that's where you start splitting hairs because there's a different
He
type
works
of
a physical
exhaustion
job.
to all of it.
You did a physical thing having a baby.
Well, and her job. Well, her job is a desk job.
I know,
right now,
and then
working
you're
outside.
at work all day, and then you got a baby.
Yeah, I'm like, it's kind of all like we're all in this together. It's not this scorekeeping of, well, you do this kind of job here and I do this, and you know what I mean? Like it can get into that. And I think it's kind of this like whole mindset of like, we're both exhausted. So what is the plan of action for us to get through even just day to day, the basics and necessities of stuff, and feeling some level of that control in the household because it is chaotic. I mean, it's really difficult. But when you have that stuff laid out, and I think that's what Winston and I did, we kind of blew up the whole like roles and responsibility of what we kind of thought and kind of assumed each other.
And
like,
for
it was
a
kind
short
of this.
period of time, we're going to make it whatever it needs to be.
Yeah. It's kind of all hands on deck feel.
Yeah, and we could change it back and forth, and we could do it for 2 weeks and change it again.
Yep.
But I think when you said, Cassie, y'all sat down and started talking about it. But I want to give you permission. I don't think it's burnout. I think it's just tired.
Yeah.
Okay? Burnout is I don't emotionally, there's no light at the end of the tunnel except an oncoming train. You actually see your way through this. You're just freaking tired.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and sometimes when you have to pick up something out of the floor or take out the trash or something because he went to sleep because he just worked a 12-hour shift or something like that, it's easy when you're tired, you get grouchy. At least I do. I'm grouchy sometimes when I'm not tired. So
A little bit today.
So, but yeah, see what I'm saying? So, I just want to I want you guys to give yourself permission to say, we are in a very unusual season of life.
It's a lot of grace.
We're trying to do 2 very hard things at the same time. Get out of debt by working very intensely and deal with a newborn. Both of these are heavy lifting. Together, it's really heavy, and it won't be for long.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that helps me if I'm at the end of the game and I'm exhausted. I got to run one more play. I got to do one more thing. I got to push one more mile to finish that run. Whatever it is, I'm at the end. As long as I can see the end, I'm not burnt out. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
And you're there. You can see the end. And you've done honestly, from what you're describing, I think you're both doing great. Mm-hmm. I just think you haven't given yourself enough credit for how much crap you've been going through. I mean, how hard this is. It's hard. The only thing
and to your point, Cassie, marriage changes so drastically after you have a baby. I'm like, your marriage looks different in a sense. I'm like, the lack of sleep, the connection, like all of that you're talking about is so normal, so normal. So yeah, I would say even for you guys, like find a couple of things. I don't know, for us, it just helped levity. Like if we could just find levity and laughter and like things just to like relieve some of that tension and pressure that can build up, I think is really helpful. Because you guys may not be at a place where you're like, oh yeah, weekly date nights. I feel like some people are like, do a weekly date night. I'm like, do you know how crazy our life is? Like we're not in a season to do that. But like, what's something fun? And Dr. John Deloney will probably kill me for saying this, but I'm like, even like a stupid TV show that it's like the thing that you guys do. You sit down together and you watch it, makes you laugh. Like what's a thing that just can bring some levity to you guys, I think is always helpful, especially in these seasons. And if they're just now sleeping through the night at 7 months, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
But you guys are doing a really good job, Cassie, and it doesn't last forever. And but I know exactly how you feel because it's a lot.
But it also helps to put the right language on it. And burnout's not the right language. Tired is the right language. And by the way, it's you have a right to be tired. Mm-hmm. That's what we're trying to tell you. But it's also worth it. So keep going. Figure it out. Sit down. Parse out the chores. Go, honey, tonight I just can't do this. I'm going to bed. I mean, whatever. You gotta take the midnight. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And you just go back and forth with that, and you just work your way through till the end on this, and you Figure out what you can do and what you can't do, and keep handing it back and forth until you get across the goal line. And you'll get there. You'll get there. I think you're probably a lot stronger than you feel like you are. Matter of fact, I'm sure you are. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions headquarters. John is with us. Hey, John, how are you?
Better than I deserve, Dave.
Very cool. And where do you live, sir?
Seattle, Washington.
Very good.
Nice.
And how much debt have you paid?
$59,696.
I love it. And how long did this take?
3 years, 9 months, 27 days.
All right.
Nice.
And your range of income during that time?
$20,000 to start, and then after a lot of side hustles and a little bit of overtime, $60,000.
Very cool. What do you do now?
I'm a youth pastor, and I'm also a financial coach part-time with your Ramsey Preferred Coaching
Cool.
team.
Oh.
So dare to be different, Romans 12:2.
Yep.
All right. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Amen.
Yeah, good. I love it. One of my favorite scriptures. Good for you. Well done, well done, well done. What kind of debt was the $60,000?
Student loans.
Oh,
Every
baby.
penny.
Youth pastor with student loans.
Yep.
Making no money. Did you get out of school and looked up 3 years ago, 9 months, and said, I got to do this, or what?
Yeah, so kind of like everyone, or I was a high schooler, didn't really have any plans. I jumped straight into student loans, went to a private Christian school, and didn't actually think about it. I was like, oh, signing, okay, whatever. I don't really care what I was doing. 2.5 years in, I'm in my dorm, and I see this book, and it's 5 College Mistakes You Can't Afford to Miss by Rachel Cruz and Anthony O'Neill.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's a good book. And I looked at it, and the first one of the chapters was college choice. And it said public in-state versus private out-of-state, and that's what I did. And I was like, oh no, what did I do? And I looked, and I saw I accumulated $60,000, and I was only halfway through my degree. So I just had this holy crap, like full of shame, full of hopelessness, like what am I going to do? And during my part-time college job, I was actually kind of looking, and I scrolled upon a Dave Ramsey, bald guy giving someone hope on YouTube. And I just jumped all in, just started consuming the podcast, the YouTube, and I realized, wait a minute, I can pay for my degree online while working full time. So I actually stopped. It was December 2019, right before COVID. So I did online before it was cool. That wasn't a plan, but everyone kind of followed my footsteps. Not really, but COVID
Started the
happened.
fad. Yeah.
Yep. But honestly, the COVID pause actually helped me kind of accelerate my debt payment. But I made $1,600 a month to start off. And it was nothing.
Wow.
And $150 a month for groceries, Instacart, DoorDash, house sitting, cat sitting, anything and everything. But long story short, I even worked for a car dealership for part of it. But using Ken Coleman's materials, I realized I have a passion for helping high schoolers find and follow Jesus. And that became just really evident through the Ken Coleman materials, just community speaking into my life, as well as, I also have this passion for finances, since finances is the biggest and common reasons for divorce. So I then kind of did that. So now I'm actually at a church, Bethany Puyallup. We do FPU, which I love because I get to point my high schoolers to it. But a new thing now that I'm debt free and now can do is every senior that graduates, I'm going to give a copy of the Total Money Makeover and say, hey, I was an idiot with money and I didn't follow God's ways of handling money. I was a terrible steward for his resources, for his kingdom, and for his glory. Please learn from me, and to talk about what Scripture actually says about it. To also help them, set them up for success, and to like recognize that your decisions, have they impact your future.
Yeah.
So that's
Man, you're amazing. Well done, sir.
So great.
Well done. How old are you?
25.
All right. Very
Nice.
cool. Good for you. Good for you. Who was your biggest cheerleader while you're going through this?
I had a bunch of cheerleaders, my mom and my sister. I got a list. Dave and Sarah Stahosky, the rental house I'm allowed to stay in. My community group, the Gouges for my landscaping job, Accountability, Jeff Brink, Sean MacArthur, Matt Rand, Noah Lilly, and Tony Duck.
Almost like he knew I was going to ask you.
I have listened to so many of these. We've had this conversation so many times. But
I just wasn't on the other end. Yeah.
But one person in particular, I have a guitar pick that says "Never Give Up Pork Chop," and Pork Chop was my family middle name. And July 21st this year, my dad passed away.
Oh my!
And he was one of my biggest cheerleaders. And I got out of debt in October, and he didn't get to see it. And
actually, he did.
You're right. Yeah. But he sent me anytime you were on Fox News, Dave, he would like send me articles. He's like, "John, you're kicking this debt's butt. Keep going." Aww. And he modeled for me sacrifice growing up, and it was hard, man. There were times I didn't want to wake up early, go landscaping, and do all that stuff. But Dad sacrificed for me and my sister growing up, so I had that picture. Rachel says more is caught than taught, and I got that from my dad.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
I miss him, and I actually want to kind of dedicate this to him because I really miss him. But
yeah, you got the T-shirt done. That's great.
Yep.
I like it. I like the pick on there. That's very cool.
So
good stuff.
Gosh,
good
John.
stuff, man.
So for you, I mean, your dad's story integrated throughout this, I know was a difficult part of the journey. But for you, being in your mid-20s, kind of figuring all this out and wanting to do something extreme like get out of debt, right? And all these student loans. What was the hardest thing? Like, what was it? The work? You mentioned the landscaping. Like, what was the thing that was like, man, that was the difficult part?
I think it was everything. It was submitting to a process that's worked for millions of people. And I think the key for me, it was saying no, working a lot, like being okay with like, I can't go skydiving or can't go on this, can't do that. But I realized it was like, you know what? I want to be 25 without any student loans, and I want to be a good steward of God's resources for his kingdom and his glory. And I want to model it, and don't let anyone look down at you because you're young, but set an example for the believers in speech and life and love and faith and purity. And I want to do that for my students. But I think submitting to a process that's biblical, that's clear, that has clear set paths. And I think there's something about that impacts your mental health, your finances, your relationships. And there's something about God's ways of handling life that not just thinking about it, but actually doing it is really powerful. And you get to reap the fruit that comes from it. So, but
it's awesome.
It is. It cuts through. It cuts through quick and deep. Well done. Proud of you, man.
Thanks, man.
Good work.
So great.
Good work. I know your mama's proud of you, your sister's proud of you, and your daddy's proud of you. Well done.
Thank you for your mentorship.
Done.
So
excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Okay, so when someone says, what's the key to getting out of debt, what do you tell them?
Ownership. I think ownership, vision. For me, like, I realized I didn't really know what I was doing when I signed those papers, but I did, and I have to own that. But I was the problem, but now I get to tell my clients, I was like, hey, you were the problem, but good news, you're the solution, you can do it. And the power of the renewing of your mind. It's like, yes, the decision is hard, but you can do it. You can rewire your brain. You can do not be conformed to the patterns of this world. And honestly, dare to be different. I think we as followers of Jesus should be different in every area of our life, not just our finances, but our relationships, our marriages, every area of your life. So that's why I wrote Dare to be Different, and do not be conformed to the patterns of this world. So,
amen.
It's awesome.
Amen. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Very, very well done. All right, John from Seattle, $60,000 in student loan debt paid off in 3 years and 9 months, making $20,000 a year, up to $60,000 with lots of side hustles. Yeah, don't tell me you can't do this. Those numbers, that's tough. That's some tough numbers right there. Well done, sir. Very well done. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free!
Yeah! Love it! That's as good as it gets, boys and girls. Love it, love it, love it. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Tommy Lasorda said, there are three kinds of people in this world: people who make it happen, people who watch what happens, and people who wonder what happened. Elizabeth is in Colorado Springs. Hey, Elizabeth, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello. Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk to you all.
You too. How can we help?
We are facing in the next several months some changes in our finances. We have not lived on a written budget yet. We've just kind of lived in our means, but I am tired of being panicky every night, wondering where my money is, and just now going into this season of uncertainty. I don't know how to start building that budget.
And what's the season of uncertainty again? Sorry. I may have missed that.
So we just had our third child,
Okay.
And right before she was born, we found out that our daycare provider is moving. So now we have to enroll our kids in a new daycare, which is essentially doubling our daycare bills starting in July. We are also any day now going to start receiving these bills from the hospital. So, just trying to figure out what those are going to be, while also still paying off our debts and, trying to provide for our family.
Okay, good news, Elizabeth. None of that is uncertain. It's all very certain.
Okay.
It's happening.
Right.
It's not like you can't predict it. You can know it. It may be hard, but it's not uncertain. It may be...
And the amount may be uncertain with the medical bills.
No, it's not. I mean, you've got insurance, and you can tally up what your copay is and figure out what your bills are going to be. You shouldn't, on a normal labor and delivery, if you've got normal insurance, you shouldn't have a huge bill there, but it's not one that's going to break your back. But what it amounts to is just as you decided to tackle this, you had three things come at you that were extra. Well, two. Mm-hmm. One is I want to get out of debt. That didn't come at you, but the other two things came at you. So, what you're saying is it was really going to be hard to budget anyway. Now it's going to be super hard.
Right.
Not to budget, to make the budget work with the income we have. And so what you're going to have to do is look at and say, what there may be something that has to give. Like you landed on this daycare that's double, you may have to keep looking. That one may not fit your budget. That one might not be.
We're on the wait lists for other closer, cheaper options.
Yeah, but the one that you had was it was a friend or something. What was it?
Yeah, it was a stay-at-home mom that just wanted pocket money, basically. So
okay, you got to keep looking for that.
Yes.
To replace the one you got, and then it's not double.
How old's your baby?
Right.
How old's the third?
She's 3 weeks.
Oh wow. Okay. So you
wonderful.
just had the baby.
All right. So yeah, I think what happens is you say, all right, we're gonna lay out the written game plan, and the written game plan is food is first. Shelter is second, lights and water is third. And then with what's left, we try to figure out all this other stuff, right?
Okay.
And so, because you will emotionally be in a better place if you know you have a place to live, the heat is on, the water is on, and there's food on the table. Now, the rest of it's a monopoly game.
And when will you go back to work, Elizabeth, or are the other two older ones, I guess they're still in daycare?
Yeah, they're still in daycare. I go back mid-June. And then with that, I'm going to keep home my oldest when the younger two go to daycare until she starts preschool, which we also have to build into the budget, and like when she'll start in mid-August then.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So I think what we're saying is just the good news is you're going to see all this coming and you're going to happen to it instead of it happening to you. Mm-hmm. But it is still going to be tight and it's going to be stressful, but not nearly as stressful as if you added chaos to it.
Right.
So,
so that is a relief.
Yeah. And I would find out for even like as much as you can get the facts, I think is helpful, Elizabeth. So even the medical stuff, you're like, oh my gosh, the medical bills are going to hit. Figure out how much those are. And see, okay, if we do a payment plan, like, are we able to pay off, X amount next month, and really be really, really specific. And even for you, because there's going to be so much change with you going back to work in June, another kid starts a different preschool in August. Like even if you do the Every Dollar app, which if you hold on the line, Emily will pick up and we'll get you the premium version for a year. But go ahead and build out a couple of months of budgets, looking out, knowing that these months ahead, that the budgets will change, but at least you can kind of get a plan of like, okay, this is what it looks like here, here, and here. It is amazing when you have facts down and those numbers are actually down on paper. It's not just in your head. It does give you peace.
Stress.
Yeah,
lowers the stress.
It gives you a lot of peace.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
no, that's exactly what I need.
Yeah, because when you know the house payment's paid, the lights and water's on, and there's food on the table, then you can go, oh, okay, now the rest of this is inconvenient.
We know that we can pay the medical bills and even the preschool in installments. Is that considered debt, or should we try to pay that off?
No, preschool's not. Preschool's just you're paying it monthly. That's like paying your electric bill monthly. I mean, you're paying for it as you use it. But the medical bills would be debt. If you can clear it, clear it. Do you have any money saved?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We're fine financially. I just know I don't know what things are going to look like right now. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the more you do what Rachel said and dig up that information and lay it out in a very certain way.
Yeah. And Elizabeth, have you guys ever done a really detailed budget, like how much we spend for groceries or out to eat, kids' activities, like you're really like line item by line item? Have you guys ever done that?
No,
okay.
and that's always frustrated me and panicked me.
Yeah, so and even go back.
Leave checklist item.
Yeah, and go back, Elizabeth, like even in your bank accounts, the last 2 or 3 months, and just kind of average out. Okay, here's all my grocery store runs, and just take a sheet of paper and just write them all down, and divide it, and just say, okay, on average, this is what we were spending at the grocery before we were budgeting, right? And plug those numbers in, and then usually when you're not budgeting, you're overspending in categories, not realizing it. And then say, okay, if we really were on a plan, what could I limit that to? What could I shrink that down to, right? And so it's kind of just ends up being this puzzle piece. But you'll go back, you'll run some numbers, look back at your checking account for gas, how much you guys fill up on gas every month. Like it sounds so granular and detailed, but it is so, so helpful. And with every dollar, it's going to be attached to your bank account. So when those transactions come in, you just drag and drop them into a category and it does the math for you. And it just shows you here's how much is left in the month. And just having that control, like it's amazing. It really is. And it'll take you guys a few months to get it down. It won't be perfect.
And you and your husband are both looking at these numbers and you're both carrying the weight of the decisions in the household.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you are looking at it. You may be the one that writes the checks or he may be the one, I don't care. But both of you are looking at it and saying, oh, if you're going to have an oh crap moment, we do it as a couple. If we're going to have a victory moment, we do it as a couple.
How much you guys make a year, Elizabeth?
We make $220.
$220, okay.
So you're in good shape.
Any debt?
We've got 50, and a car, a home repair, and some land. So
okay. And how much do you have in savings?
About 25.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are in great shape, Elizabeth. I think you're doing better than you think you are. But follow the baby steps. Throw some of that $25,000 once you get those medical bills and kind of know, okay, here's where we're at.
Pay the medical bills when they come in.
Yeah.
And then let's start cleaning up the rest of the debt and build a good, strong emergency fund. In your case, it's probably $50,000. So if you had $50,000 in the bank and no payments but a house payment and a written game plan where every dollar had an assignment and you and your husband had agreed to it, your stress level is going to go down 90%.
That would be incredible.
Yeah. That's why we call it financial peace. Yeah. You're really asking all the right questions.
Yep.
This is going to turn out well for you. Proud of you. Good stuff. You're going to get it. Good for you. Well done, well done, well done. That's how you work.
A lot of new babies this show.
It was a baby show.
I know, a lot of
baby show.
A lot of ones. But that's great. And it is funny how different life events can come up and then you look at everything and you're like, oh my gosh, I was stressed about that. I want that to change. I see this. And then the domino effect of really helping your life overall. It happens.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a very John Deloney-esque thing.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Love it. Good job, Rachel. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.